Fred Lundgren. But then again, the views of broadcast management are, well, different. And now it's time for On the Mark Live with host Mark Westwood. Finally, a show about KCAA. Hot topics, a little locomotion, current events, news, laugh, reviews, and a little irreverence. And you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1, Mark.
I love the dance.
The bug inside the studio that will not go away. It's driving us crazy. KCAA 1050 AM 106.5 and 102.3. Mari Winter is with us, and she's about to hit me, and Andrew's about to hit Mari.
I'm just watching the entertainment.
Bug.
I'm watching the live stream right now online, and Mark just starts doing this hand jive, and it's just like
it's this little tiny little thing that just flies up your nose and gets in your face, and it's kind of like Donald Trump.
Ooh,
and a tweeter.
Nice
Or a
segue.
Twitter.
Right there.
Oh my gosh! Can you believe what has been going on here forever and a day? We have got so much to talk about that who knows what we could talk about next. And just 7 hours ago, another congressman from Florida, a Republican,
7 hours ago,
said, "Hey, I'm not running for office. I'm out of here." Republicans are fleeing and jumping off the ship. They see the handwriting on the bus, on the wall, on the way out. They're like, "We're out of here."
well, I mean, Paul Ryan decided he's gonna hang it up too now.
Kind of old news. There was actually 31. I think it's up to 33 now.
Yeah.
GOP congressmen said, "Well, we're not running in the next race. We're going to get slaughtered. We're not going to do that."
Exhaustion. I think
Exhaustion.
That's it.
And the Democrats only have to take over 23 now, because we gained another Democrat. Only have to take over 23 seats. So can you imagine what's going to happen in 2018 if this keeps going on? And now we have Trump's office of the lawyer that was raided. And Seth Meyers was so upset. He says,
It's fake news.
all the information we needed for a great skit was just floors below us in Cohen's office, Trump's lawyer.
That's rude.
Because it was at 30 Rockefeller Square that the FBI raided it. And they're like, "Oh, my God, we're all sitting on top of this. We didn't even know all this information was there."
On top of a gold mine.
Yeah, $130,000 political contribution is what it amounts to. Because, folks, if you haven't figured it out, or you really are watching Fox News, which, by the way, it's fake. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, everybody says it's
The
fake.
panda story was very important.
Okay,
I'm going to have to agree with that.
the panda
I
story.
mean, you never know. I mean, it's a good thing that they're just sex crazed, or we would all be dead.
Yeah. True story.
Well, anyway, true story, though. Here they are. They're raiding this $130,000 contribution. And if Trump would just pay his bills, he wouldn't be in trouble right now. But like all the building contractors he stiffed, everybody he bankrupted, and all the employees, from Trump Airlines and the Trump Vodka and everybody he left holding the bills.
Trump steaks.
He did the same thing because force of habit.
Casinos.
He left the lawyer holding the bill to cover up his $130,000. How can I put this? You can't even put this politely.
No.
His hooker charge.
Yeah.
Okay,
A
we
horror
have
charge.
to be politically correct.
No, we don't.
It's not a hooker. It's a porn star.
It is a porn star.
or adult film star.
She was on 60 Minutes and she said she performed the act, okay?
Yeah, but of
I mean,
her own
come on.
choice, and
That-
she wasn't paid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want $130,000 for not
Yeah.
having sex
That-
with
that-
Donald
that's
Trump.
I mean,
the
at the
hooker,
time
you're-
that she
you're the
had
money.
sex, she wasn't paid.
Right, okay.
So maybe whore, not hooker though, because hooker that's a job position.
Okay,
right?
we're not going to get stuck on what we're calling
Okay.
Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels.
It's a good stage name.
It is. It's
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
impressive.
It really is a good
And
stage name.
I don't know if you guys follow her on Twitter.
Stormy, I want
Do
you
you
to
follow
take
her on
the
Twitter?
magazine with my face on it and
Focus.
whip me. Whip me.
Do you follow her
I
on
want
Twitter?
my bigly butt whippled. Okay, go ahead.
Pay attention.
No, I don't follow her on
She
Twitter.
is amazing on Twitter.
Is she?
Yeah, I didn't think I would ever follow a porn star on Twitter, but she's amazing. She's funny.
Is she?
She is dishing it out
Really?
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, good
Good
for her.
for her.
I-
More power.
It's worth following on Twitter.
Everybody has a job in life. Everybody has a vocation
she's,
in life.
She's sassy.
I have
sassy.
never condemned working women
yeah.
of that nature, or
She'll get
working men of
endorsements
that
from
nature.
this. You watch. She'll get some good endorsements.
They provide something that some people want to partake in, and that's a personal life choice. And some people can get paid. I personally could never get paid for that, but good for her.
There's a
Anyway.
market for everything, Mark.
So what this amounts to is, if you're not watching fake Fox News, is that Trump didn't pay his bill to the lawyer, which wound up now going a whole year and a half or so past the election now. And it has become and wound up becoming a in-kind political, not even an in-kind, a straight cash political contribution of $130,000 to the Trump campaign, because he did it during the campaign to cover up and to affect the campaign. And it wasn't reported by the lawyer. The lawyer, Cohen's going to go to jail. This is not, they're not messing around here. This is what's going to get him. This is going to be kind of like, you know, how they got the mafiosos in Chicago. Or they don't actually get them for, like, you know, taking Russian help or a lot of money from Russia, or the $30 million from Russia.
It's like Capone and the taxes.
Exactly. They get him on the taxes. They're going to get him on this. They raided that lawyer's office. And Trump has been, you know, well known to destroy documents all the time. You know, he talked about Hillary and destroying the emails, and she destroyed the emails, and lock her up. Well, this is it, folks. He destroyed documents all over the place. So Mueller just said, we're just going to go to your lawyer, because, you know, your lawyer has it all. And we're just going to take everything in that office.
Yeah, I could never be president.
His
I have too much
office,
scandal.
His hotel room, and his home.
Yes.
Wow. Which one?
Cell phones from 20 years ago. They're now the FBI. And it's
Wow.
interesting what they're doing at the FBI. They're protecting the attorney-client relationship, which is what Trump was twittering at 3 a.m. in the morning this morning about.
The true attack on our country.
The attorney-client, I can't even do it, but the attorney-client relationship is dead in the United States. No, there's a part of the FBI, they're just putting all this stuff, and they're calling them the cleaning committee. And they're going through, and they're sorting through the documents, and if anything that doesn't have anything to do with Trump, they're setting aside. And they're keeping it confidential. And they've been sworn to secrecy not to talk about any attorney-client relationship that might be with another client that has nothing to do with Trump, with this Cohen, the lawyer. Cohen, the lawyer, like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so then once they do that, then they're going to sort the documents into, you know, Russian stuff.
I don't know.
Trump's bad businesses, Trump's divorces, Trump's alleged sex scandals, and probably his will, which will be interesting when the children find out they're not getting all that money.
Now you know
Because there is
you know
none.
he's in deep water, because Trump likes to talk. Trump likes the media. And in passing, some of the reporters were trying to ask him questions just last week, and instead of continuing on a conversation as they're trying to whisk him away, he just kind of says, "You'll have to ask my attorney. You'll have to ask my attorney." Very, very short with the press with it. I'm not sure. You'll just have to ask my attorney. So he knows there's something really bad that's about to pop.
Well, Mueller is asking his attorney, the FBI and the Attorney General's office, and that weird little short dude that nobody likes. What's his name?
Sessions?
Sessions.
The Keebler elf.
They do a good job of him on SNL. I'm just saying, with the possum tail.
We are blatantly just making fun of the heads of the United States right now, but it's so easy to do.
I mean, they give us lots of material.
Yes,
It's not
they
our
do.
fault.
Yes, they do.
They're real life Looney Tunes.
They really are.
They really are.
I think it's interesting
Sessions.
that Trump likes to complain that it's the Democrats that have come for him, but it's literally all Republican appointees and ones that he himself appointed.
Right. I mean, they're
Not
Republicans.
a single Democrat in sight.
Folks, get a clue out there in Radio Land. If you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, there are Republicans everywhere jumping off the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a mass exodus. You know, the filing date is just passing, and none of them refiled. I don't know whether they're thinking they're doing the American duty by stepping aside and giving the Democrats the majority, which could very well happen, or because they don't want to impeach him, but they know he needs to be impeached.
I think they're just old and they just don't care anymore by this point.
Paul Ryan's is not. Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the Assembly, is not old.
I think there's a lot that still.
He
have
looks like
years
Gomer
left.
Pyle with muscles, but he's not old.
But I mean, I think they're tired by this point. They're exhausted and they realize they're just running their head into a, no pun intended, wall.
Right.
Like literally, like they just keep, it's the same thing again and again, and they're tired. They're tired.
So would you say that Trump, in fact, has already built the wall? that they're now banging
The
their
figurative
heads.
wall?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're banging their heads against.
He built a wall in Congress.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, they're exhausted, they're tired. It's the same song and dance, and they're not. No one wants to listen anymore. So I think they're giving up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're giving up.
They're just like, we're out of here.
I don't know what else it is. I don't even. I mean, I try to be as fair as possible and look at both sides all the time, but I really don't know what the argument is. I really think they're giving up.
Well, and so part of it is because some of the people that are like almost normal Republicans, it's the sad thing is that a lot of Republicans, even though you don't like Republicans, maybe a lot of them that had that institutional knowledge and could deal with problems overseas and crises, they're going to be gone. And what they're doing is because the Tea Party, real libertard Republicans that invaded from the Libertarian Party, the extreme right radical fringe, are taking over. They don't want to be a part of it. They don't want to be governed. The first one that was out was Boehner. Yeah. And he was, the speaker just before Paul Ryan.
He used to do spray tans too. No, I mean, side note.
Yeah.
He was orange all the time. He's the original orange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
The new color is orange. We've been saying that for a while. Anyway, it is going to be interesting come June first of all, and then it's going to be interesting in November. We have some races right here in California. Now, first of all, Ryan, no longer Speaker of the Assembly. Very shortly, he will not be. They will now elect somebody new.
Are we referring to California now? No, wait. What are we doing?
Paul Ryan.
Oh, Paul Ryan. See what happens when you use first or last names like that? I get confused.
Yeah, when you have two first names, like porn stars. Stormy Daniels. Oh, that's not two first names.
If you got rid of the S, it what?
Tormy Daniels?
No. Stormy Daniel.
Oh. I went for the first name.
I don't know why I'm stuck in the middle of you two.
Anyways, continue.
Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels.
Someone help me.
We're having too good a time here.
Yeah.
I've suddenly developed a lisp. Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
Anyway,
happy Wednesday, everyone.
Happy Wednesday. It is hump day, and some people are getting hump
day.
today. Anyway. I'll be here all hour. There's so much to talk about. What we really do is we do have a guest here that we're going to talk about real business we want to talk about. But, you can't avoid the headlines, folks. You just can't avoid the headlines. It's like you're driving off the road. Yesterday I was really busy, or Monday I was really busy with doing things, and I was down in Los Angeles at a meeting, and I got home and I was tired, and then the owner of the radio station says, "Hey, Mark, been watching the news today?" I said, I haven't been. I've been really busy." He says, "You know what happened to Trump?" And I says, "Is he gone yet?" God
Start
help
checking your
us.
Facebook feed. What did I miss?
Is he gone yet? Please, Lord, deliver us. If there was ever a prayer, Lord, deliver us from Donald Trump. Anyway, no, but his lawyer got, raided, and we talked about that. And then I just turned the news on, and there was Donald Trump.
Of course.
Splitting a gut, coming unglued, face spinning around, soup coming out of his mouth. And that all of his, staff said, "Whatever you do, remain calm. Don't go into it. Just, say, we're going to talk to my lawyer's lawyer or something."
But for every action, there's a reaction, so the opposite.
Oh, no, not Donald Trump. Shame, shameful, shameful, shameful. He kept saying that over and over. Disgraceful, disgraceful. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Disgrace.
That's a new word.
Yeah.
He
said it.
He looked it up that day.
About 14 times, I think they said he said it. And so, we had all that and watching him go off and then his Twitters and tweets, and it's just getting more interesting all the time. And so, sometimes at the end of the day, I'll just, like Google Trump tweet. It's a game, ladies and gentlemen. It's Russian Trump tweet. Oh, Russian roulette. How interesting, how ironic that we can refer to it that way. So let's do Trump tweet.
I thought it was interesting because I follow Donald Trump, so I can see all his stupid tweets. And, him saying that his lawyer getting raided was an attack on America.
Yeah.
Shame.
What the crap?
Is that because he thinks he's America? Is that how that works?
Maybe.
And because it's his lawyer, it's an attack on America.
I'm like, I don't know, 9/11.
I really
Pearl
try-
Harbor.
I try to find the reasoning. You know, I'm like, what brought you to this point? That this
Russia
is this is the
meddling.
connection.
You know, like we have some like legitimate things in our history.
Well,
Yeah.
here is
actual attacks.
You know, we make fun of Donald Trump, but then, you know, this is why Congress is so responsible to impeach him, and they need to impeach him right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, while they were talking, I Googled Trump Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read you one of the latest Twitters, so just in
no.
case.
Tweets. Tweets.
And this is, we won't be laughing. Donald Trump. Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Get ready, Russia, because they will be coming nice and new and smart. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it.
So him and Putin aren't getting along, I'm assuming.
Apparently not. I guess the romance is over.
But buddies have broken up.
They had a disagreement.
Oh, you better be careful there. Well, you know, one was on top, one was on the bottom, and maybe.
Is it really turning into that kind of show?
Yeah.
Really, guys?
You
It
can't
is
say
still
that
it
in
is
the
still the
show?
afternoon drive time.
It is, you know, and I'm saying one was on top of the world
Oh,
and
gosh.
one was on the bottom of the world. I didn't say anything nasty there.
Me neither.
You know, but you know, they're anything but buddies. Okay.
Boom.
Boom. Anyway, there has been a long bromance between Putin and Trump. It seems to right now, for Trump's convenience, like Mike Flynn, you know, like his press secretaries, like anybody else, whenever he gets in trouble, you know, he blows them over the back and, oh God,
What?
over the side, shoves them over the side. God, where did I go there? Anyway.
We're live on
Hey,
KCAA.
look out. Hey, you. Mind your business.
Yes, I know, and I need to be doing that.
gosh.
Anyway, you know, our relationship with Russia is worse now than it ever has been, and that includes this Cold War. There is no reason for this Russia needs to help us with their scrutiny, something that would be very easy to do, and we need all nations to work together. Stop the arms race. What? Okay. He like rewound to like 1984,
There's an arms race.
and there's an arms race. Is his arm longer than Putin's? Is that what he's talking
don't
about?
know.
I have no idea. You know. Anyway, Putin must be going. He's crazy. That's really
I think
bad.
Putin already knew.
Yeah, Putin already knew. Anyway, it's very, very, very difficult to watch all this. And Congress, for heaven's sakes, would you do your duty, your constitutional duty, to just swear? You know, you held your right hand up and vowed to, you know, to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States of America, and we need to do that. And you need to impeach somebody who is a serious threat to the United States of America. And unfortunately, that's the 45th person in the Oval Office right now who is anything but a president, because he's not doing the duties of the president. And that's just the first impeachable process. You know, 45 ambassadors haven't been appointed. There's some 500 positions that haven't been filled.
I'm
He's
gonna
constantly
look.
firing people.
I'll look for a job.
Yeah, I mean,
You
you
won't
know,
keep it for very
Yeah, I'll
long.
be fired. I'll be back here next week.
just change your name to Stormy. You'll be fine.
True story. We covered on the entertainment wrap up last week. Somebody that was a former Disney star now works at the White House. So I'm just saying, like, so that's interesting. She's a staffer.
Oh, okay.
She's not an intern anymore. She's actually a White House staffer, but she was a Disney star.
Oh,
So
did you
she
know
went
her?
from intern to staffer and like that?
Yeah,
or-
well, she worked for another office, some Republican office. I can't remember. It was last week. But then she got an internship from that to work at the White House. But now she's hired from the White House. So she's a paid staffer. She's on the payroll at the White House.
Well, good for her.
The mouse is in the
Straight
house.
from Main Street to
Yeah. But I mean, talking about open jobs and stuff, I mean, it's to the point where even a Disney
When
star
you wish
can work in the White
upon a
House now.
star,
True
makes
story.
no difference who you are. Stormy Daniels, whether. Anyway, okay, ladies and
We've come
gentlemen,
off the
we need to
rails.
regroup here. We're come off the rails. We're having a good time today, and we're having too much of a good time. We do have things to talk about, and I want to take a break here real quick, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk with our guest, and we're going to solve some problems and educate you and do what we're really here to do, which is not have so much fun making fun of Donald Trump or the world situation, which is getting very dire. So, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, we'll be back right after this on KCAA 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM. Thank you.
You've been listening to On the Mark Live with Mark Westwood, a show about KCAA, the world, and you, with more to come in a moment.
Hey Ryan, do we have any beer in the fridge?
Nah, I thought you got some.
The game starts in 5 minutes.
And you drank the last beer at midnight on Friday.
I wish there was a place that delivered beer.
Yes, I'm Captain Crafted. I'm here to bring you beer. That's Captain, C-R-A-F-T, apostrophe D. Why? Because there's no E, just a D, as in deliver, because Captain Crafted delivers.
That's right. The Crafted Beer Store in Redlands is now open for business with great prices and deliveries of your favorite beer, wine, spirits, water, ice, and mixers. Did I mention their great prices? That's CRAFTDBEER store.com or Fred Crafted Beer Store on Facebook.com. Make it easy. Google Redlands Beer Delivery. Look for Crafted Beer.
Crafted Beer Store in Redlands is now open for business, and I'm here to deliver.
Locals in Loma Linda and Redlands all know and love the Family Homestyle Cafe, the home of the world's largest pancakes and the delicious mouth-watering food cooked up daily by their well-trained chefs. Sizzling thick-cut bacon, ham, and hand-pressed sausage. They take pride in the best quality, great economical values, with better portions served up with the pride of local ownership and great service. Near the corner of Anderson and Redlands Boulevard in Loma Linda, if you haven't tried out Chef Mark's Delights, you haven't had some of the best food in the area. And now, Chef Mark is upgrading his cafe and offering space for on-site gatherings, luncheons, and parties. Add a DJ for a great holiday party or luncheon, and you've got a no-fuss event with all the bells and whistles. Call Mark today at 909-478-9996. That's 909-478-9996. Or stop by the Homestyle Cafe in Loma Linda at Anderson and Redlands Boulevard.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-569-9816. That's 800-569-9816. Again, 800-569-9816.
And now it's time to batten down the hatches, because here comes more of Mark Westwood and On the Mark Live. 3, 2, 1, Mark.
And welcome back. KCAA Radio, 1050 AM The Legacy, 102.3 FM and 106.5 FM. It's On the Mark.
It's a 321 Mark, not 321 Andrew, but hey, that's cool.
You weren't on the microphone. I was buying you time.
Well, I promised I would stop talking about Trump, but
What did you find?
I found out
something else.
that Queen Elizabeth has made a joke on TV about Donald Trump.
No, that is not even
that's
possible.
good.
That
That's
is
cute.
not
amazing.
fake news.
What is the joke?
You know, the
Well-
Queen is allowed to.
Queen Elizabeth, who normally leaves the jokes to her husband, now in her 90s, she's Britain's monarch and seems to be getting in on the act with just about the whole world and us, as we did in the last half hour, with a gag about Donald Trump and Barack Obama. While strolling through Buckingham Palace garden with the naturalist David Attenborough for a TV documentary, the tranquility was shattered by the British humor, by the sound of a helicopter flying above, and the Queen gave the opportunity to show off her sense of humor while she was waiting. Why do they always go round? I have to do this right. Why do they always go round and round when you want to talk? She asked. It sounds like President Trump or President Obama. And she was talking about the helicopter, of course. She was making a joke about the helicopter. But even the Queen of England, in her British humor, was making fun about Donald Trump.
She's a pistol, let me tell you.
Yeah, she is a pistol, let me tell you. The other thing was that Prince Harry didn't invite Donald Trump to the wedding.
Well, in all fairness, Obama wasn't on the list either, and he's buds with Harry. You know?
Oh, but maybe Obama said, I can't make it. Or
That's probably logical, yes.
we don't want to interrupt your wedding with, all the Secret Service and all that.
Yeah.
No, I heard they didn't invite Obama because it would upset Trump so much.
But they didn't want to invite Trump either.
God, that's such like the British being neutral. I would have said, let's do it.
Yeah, it's
I just
anyway.
want to be nice.
Anyway,
All
long
proper.
story made short. We have business to do, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second half of On the Mark, where we're going to put the train back on the tracks. And we're going to talk with our guest, who I admire and enjoy very much having around, Mary Winter, the newly elected president of the Yucaipa Calamasa Democratic Club, number one.
Thank you.
Yay! And now she also is very well known for her great heart, her big heart, her activism in helping the homeless, and something called Faces of Yucaipa. So first of all, for our listeners who've just tuned in and have never heard about this, let's have a quick definition of what the Faces of Yucaipa is.
All right. So the Faces of Yucaipa is a homeless advocacy and service group, and it's just community based. So anybody can join that would like to know more information about the homeless, or who would like to participate in helping us solve our homeless problem. We started it 2.5 years ago, and since then, the homeless population in Yucaipa has gone down about 80%, just over 80%.
Really?
Yeah.
Means you're going to be out of a job soon if you keep up this kind of work.
So
Right?
it's actually improving.
Oh, yeah. By
That's
leaps and
great.
bounds.
80%,
Because
that's great.
that's counter to a lot of places.
Yes.
Orange County, where they have a huge homeless problem.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have huge arguments about, we don't want them in Mission Viejo. We don't want them in Laguna Niguel. We want to put them all in Santa Ana. Or even worse, they said, send them to the Inland Empire. I'm like,
Even worse, they wanted to send them to Victorville, next to me.
but what they didn't want to do is they didn't want to help them.
Yeah, they want to pass off the problem, and you can't pass off a problem, especially something to this magnitude.
Right. And if you go all over the United States, and I did this as an exercise, I had my friends do it, Google homeless Chicago. Google homeless Las Vegas, New York, anywhere, and then click on images. And it's striking that these images are just everywhere of homeless people, showing you not a couple or two or three, hobos that were like, back in the day with the bag, homeless families, homeless people, hundreds of them, dozens of them, in some cases thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, whether you're in Sacramento or you're in Houston or Austin, or whether you're in a Republican red state or a blue state, we have a homeless problem.
1.5 million people on any given night in the United States.
And some people say, well, it's because they won't want to freeload. That's not
And that
true.
includes kids, not just adults.
Yeah. Families.
Families.
Entire families.
This
babies.
freeload business. Do you want to talk about what they talk about, these freeloaders?
Yeah. So I have worked for 2 years with the homeless, and I have met one person who actually wants to be homeless, and he's a vet who has very severe PTSD and just does not function well around people at all. He's the only person that I've met that actually would like to be homeless and stay homeless. There's a lot of reasons why people are homeless, and we could talk about that for days.
And some of the reasons and the problems that are caused in people are because they're homeless, whether it's mental illness or neuroses, whether it is drug use that is encountered. When you're homeless and you're on the streets and you need to escape, you're going to escape with things that aren't probably too good for you or healthy or frowned on by society.
Mm-hmm.
When you need to eat, you may steal to eat. If you can't get a shower someplace, you can't find a restroom, you might use facilities that aren't, appropriate.
Yeah. Somebody's front yard or
yeah.
behind some business.
And so we were talking on the way over here about, it doesn't make sense that, here's Orange County wanting to port these people from one place to another.
which
When-
everywhere does.
Right. You know, homeless people need a place to eat. They need a place to do their laundry. They need a place to get their mail. They need a place to, if they want to apply, most of the time you have to apply online. They need to check their emails, their internet, you know, make a phone call. Decent stuff. It's all handout
They need
stuff.
a place to live. I mean,
It's not handout stuff. It's hand
that's
up
number
stuff.
one thing
Right.
on every survivalist list of things that you need to survive is number one is always shelter.
Yeah, and a place to put your stuff.
That's what, yeah. one of the
Shopping
main
carts
things
don't
for-
work.
No.
You know, under bridges doesn't work. And so, you know, with huge homeless populations, and why it's so objected in these communities is because, you know, they're partially right. When you have a huge homeless encampment, you're probably going to have a rise and spike in crime and in theft and drugs and
needles on the ground.
yeah. I mean, they found 14,000
Disease.
hypodermic needles.
Well, San Diego had that Hep C outbreak down there
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't have adequate bathrooms for people.
Yeah.
And I trust and I think that, you know, there were a few fires back in the fall of this year that were so rampaging all over the place and destroyed so many homes and lives and everything. It might be the case that there might have been a homeless person that sparked some of that.
I know there was one in on the 38 going up to
Big Bear, one
Big
off
Bear?
the 330,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
from one of the people, one
Right.
of our folks.
And it wasn't a huge fire, but, you know, we
And it
got
wasn't they were trying to be a firebug. They were trying to, stay warm and
survive and cook
Mhm.
and have warm food, just like we all do. So it kind of makes economic sense that we start taking care of this problem.
Yeah, that's the big
Being
thing.
responsible.
That's the big thing I'm trying to educate the public on and communities on right now. Just the circular effect of homelessness. I don't know if it's the same nationwide, but at least in California, on average, it costs us, taxpayers, cities, counties, state, everybody, $50,000 per homeless person per year.
Oh, wow.
That's a
Andrew.
salary right there.
$50,000 it costs the taxpayers.
Per person per
Yeah.
year. And that's on average.
And that is because of how is that money ranked up or
It comes from a variety of things. One of the big things is when they have a medical emergency and they need to be transported. So the
that
ambulance
could happen
ride,
overnight just there. Yeah.
Yeah, so that you get 2 of those trips and you're basically at your $50,000 mark. I had a guy that we worked with who recently died. He was hit by a car, but he was always having to go to the hospital. So we estimate him alone was probably $1 million
Right.
a year.
Yeah, and that may be average for homeless people that have mental health issues. Because I know my background when I worked in mental health, when I was trying to pay the bills, being an actor in LA, we had a lot of homeless people that would come in via ambulance ride, and because they were homeless and they had nowhere to go, it was a revolving door. So they would
Yes.
be there, they'd be discharged after their 3 days, you'd see them in another week.
Exactly.
And
'Cause
sometimes
they knew they were going to have somewhere to go.
they knew they were going to have
a
somewhere to
bed,
go, or it
blankets.
or it worked out that way. But most of the time, it was like, "Hey, I'm down on my luck. I don't know, what to do. So let me go back to the hospital." And boom, there they would be, next
Safe.
week.
Yeah, and it doesn't just affect people with deep pockets and pay big taxes.
No.
It affects a lot of people.
Yep.
I'll give you a story. I go to the Redlands Denny's and Orange and
a good
Redlands
spot.
Boulevard. Great crew there, a really fun crew, but they have to constantly run around and get the tips off the table, because at night, especially if they're not looking and the outer periphery of the restaurant, the homeless people will jump in that restaurant and grab their tips off the tables. So they're losing money. The restaurant is losing money. How? Because people don't want to go through the parking lot. So
Yeah.
that's hurting their business.
It does.
It hurts the bottom line of a business and businesses in Redlands. So if you think locally, same way with Yucaipa, I'm sure the same things kind of happen up
It
there.
is the same thing. And if you think about just the law enforcement, code enforcement, park ranger situation in Yucaipa, and it's the same way in, I would say, the majority of cities across the country, there are no places that the homeless are legally allowed to stay. So what happens is the sheriff's department, code enforcement, and the rangers spend all their time chasing people from one spot to another continuously,
Right.
all
Because
day, all night.
it's not you can't stay here, but it's also not a crime to be homeless. So it's a catch-22.
Unless they arrest them for loitering
Right,
or trespassing or something like that. So what happens is you have these resources. Would you rather have your police department chasing the homeless person from spot to spot, or patrolling or doing traffic or solving
Right.
crimes or whatever. So that money is being wasted just on their time.
Right.
on the
Absolutely.
clock,
I
right?
mean, the tremendous drain of resources. And why is it that some people are insisting on spending so much more money to just deny people than taking a little bit of that money and helping them?
I mean, think about how much money it would be if you gave every homeless person $1,000. You got them a place to rent for $500, and then gave them $500 for utilities and food and whatnot.
Right. Exactly. I mean, think how much easier it would be, rather than to build a wall for $30 billion, to take that money and help people. But there's two schools of thoughts, and we need to divorce ourselves from the school of thought that these people are electing to do this. They're not electing to do this. No matter how their circumstances are, they didn't elect to be on the streets. No one elects to be on the streets. They're not trying to freeload. She's batting a fly, by the way. That's
That gnat.
yeah. They're not trying to freeload. They are trying to pull themselves up. But it becomes impossible to pull yourself up when you can't take a shower, when you can't bathe, when you can't do your laundry, when you can't apply for a job because you need internet to do so, because that's the way the day's work does. If you haven't applied for a job lately, everybody's going to say, give me a resume, send it to me in an email online, or here's the application online, go apply, and then we'll email you. Well, or we'll call you. Well, you got to have a place to be able to be called. And if you want certain social services, of course, you have to have an address. You can't just be, homeless. You have to have an address.
Yep, that's true.
There's so many hurdles to help them get off the street. And, a lot of times people think, people only help the homeless because they're, those bleeding heart liberals. And that's just not the case. Like, it's fiscally responsible for us to help the homeless get off the street. It increases our property value. So if you're a homeowner and you want your property to increase, you probably want to help the homeless get off the street.
Yeah, you
'Cause
do.
Your property value will increase.
Yeah. People wandering on the streets, wandering through, they just come on in.
Businesses.
Wander through that way. Go to my office. Thank you.
Businesses.
Ladies and gentlemen,
will-
Marge Doyle and a whole bunch of other people. And follow Marge over here. This is a radio station. We do live radio, and sometimes people wander in our studios. And
It's a political
we say,
party.
Go through there and go.
It's a party. Everybody's
We only
welcome.
might come. They're not homeless people, though. They definitely have
They
homes.
were. We'd help
They
them
just came
too.
off the street. That's all.
They just came
See,
off
look,
the street.
you talk about them and they come. So yeah, and then, businesses will want to come in because now there's more people who want to move to the city because there's less crime, there's less drug addiction.
There's less places to find decent rent. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling.
But yet there are some
Just
people that
rambling.
seem to revel in this idea that people do this on purpose. They're trying to freeload. They're trying to sponge, and they need to be denied and penalized punitively, thinking of these people instead of the other way, which is let's help them. Let's give them a hand up. We don't have to give them a hand out, a hand up. A lot of them will take that hand up and do miraculous things with a small little job. We've seen it in cities before where people just have a job picking up litter. They take that job very seriously. They do it very well.
Yeah.
And they're very proud of the job they did. Help them, gain their dignity and their respect. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no dignity or respect in being homeless. And people don't just cast that aside so that they can get on the street and get a, couple dollar
no,
meal.
not at all.
Yeah, there's people on the street that I've talked to that said that they haven't had anybody look them in the eye or talk to them in months.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that does to your psyche? This gnat, I'm telling you, Mark.
I'm so
I'm
sorry.
going to burn this whole place down.
I have a working theory that there's three things you can do to another human being. You could, one, love them. You could, two, hate them. And then you could, three, the worst thing of all,
Ignore
just
them.
not even acknowledge them. And that's the worst, to not even be acknowledged at all.
But it applies to our whole government, okay? So you are a little bit short on your funds, okay? And you overdraw your checking account. The natural thought among conservatives is you did that on purpose and you need to be penalized. So now that you don't have any money, what do?
Fine you.
They
Fee
fine you. They charge you. You can't pay your storage bill. What do? They charge you. They fine you. They fee you. They charge you again to make it more difficult for you to pay. Why is that? Because they're taking your money.
right. Punishment, too.
No, they're stealing your money.
Well, yeah.
They figured out how to steal from the poor and give to the rich. They are the modern day digital Robin Hood in reverse. And that's the way it happens with banks, with all kinds of stuff. You can't pay your parking tickets. What does the government do to you? Automatically, you're doing that on purpose, and you need to be penalized.
Here's more fines.
Here's more fines.
And if you don't do that, then they're like, okay, well, we'll garnish your wages.
You can't pay your DMV fee. More. They garnish your wages. And then, you're late on your apartment rent. $75 late fee. If you don't have the money, maybe you're not doing it on purpose. Yeah. But this is how homelessness is created.
Well, it's the same thing with the homeless, and then they get picked up for trespassing, and they get a fine that they can't pay. So then they get a warrant that they can't show up to because it's in San Bernardino, right? So now they get picked up on their warrant, and it's this whole vicious cycle, and now they get records. So now even if they wanted a job before, when they didn't have a record, now it's even harder to find places who want to hire people who have records.
Right.
And they have all these fines, and they have to go spend time in jail. And
so it's this whole punitive thought process.
Yes, very much so.
From Donald Trump down, the wall, keeping
Long
people
before
out.
him, yeah.
Folks, there's already walls there, okay? There's already Border Patrol there. And I got news for you. There was already, I'm getting off a little tack here, but there was already National Guard there. And nothing says that we could build that wall and our neighbors to the south of us could just blow it the heck up. And rightfully so, they could do it because we're imposing a wall on them. It's not like we just have the right to do that at our border and they have to accept whatever we do. Mexico could literally blow that wall off the face of the earth as soon as we build it. And that would be the $30 billion joke on the United States of America. Think about it, folks. We don't need a wall like that. What we need to do is build bridges and help them in being economic prosperity. We're the richest nation in the world. If we invested 100 miles south of the border, let me tell you, that's bigger than any wall you could ever do. That would help people. It would help them up. It would help them be prosperous. But what more it would do would make us prosperous. It would help us. And it's the same thing with the homeless.
It's exactly
and we
the
get
same.
back to the economic engine that homeless people, how many million?
5.
1.5 million people. If we even got 60% of those people being prosperous, our economy would just take off.
It would be a huge boom. Get those people paying rent.
Right.
Having jobs, paying
Sales
state
tax,
federal tax,
utility taxes.
Now they're going and being customers at the same business that they were a blight on before. They give back to the community, and I think it's worth investing a little bit in these people because the returns are potentially enormous.
Right, exactly. 1.3 million people who need a job, who need a hand up, not a handout. They did this whole parable. The Republicans love this parable about you don't give a man a fish, you teach him how to fish.
Yeah.
Well, that's partially true.
It is.
But you got to give him the rod. You got to give him some bait. You got to teach
give
him
him the knowledge.
You got to give him the knowledge. All those things along the way.
Time.
They don't just through osmosis figure out how to do good fishing. Yeah, we know. I know. Put a line in the water, but if you don't know where to go or how to go, or if you're out there at
I hate fishing.
3:00 in the afternoon and there's nothing biting, it's probably because the fish aren't hungry because they already ate in the morning and they don't eat until the evening
There's
again.
a lot of knowledge that's important to know in order to be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fish don't just jump in the boat.
No.
So
As much as you want them to.
Another reason why I hate fishing. That would make it so much easier.
So talk a little bit more about this economic engine and the benefits of helping the homeless.
So I talked a little bit about, the businesses growth. So more people will want to come in, which is more money to the cities because the cities get a lot of money from businesses. Those businesses that come in are now going to want to hire people. They need employees. So that's going to drive up employment. Residential growth. More families are going to want to come into that city because it's safe, less crime, higher community satisfaction. And then the other thing I call it plugging the drain, which is basically stopping the drain of taxpayer monies, city money, county money, state, federal,
Right.
residents.
There's
I
all
mean,
kinds of stuff that they're
businesses.
losing.
I mean, everybody pays for homelessness in some way.
Everyone
and that's
pays.
why it's important. that
Whether you're
we're-
the waiter at Denny's trying to protect the tips that you earned on the table in downtown Redlands,
or
which is
your
supposed to be a nice city.
employer is having to clean up literally feces
Mhm.
on the front porch or the back. Or
And it's not because
chasing
they're
people
being
out.
mean
No.
or they're being desperate.
They're trying to protect their business and their employees.
No, but the homeless people are trying to, it's a natural circadian kind of thing.
Trying
you
to
got to do it
survive.
somewhere.
Yes.
And of course, you don't want to do it, Anyway, I don't know how we got off on that subject, but it's the truth. I mean, the very baser things of life that are so easy to provide, running water, a toilet in the richest nation in the world, a little, not just food. People, I had this guy quoting to me at the gym the other day. Oh, yeah, Waterman Gardens, they're building $760,000 houses for these people to live in. I don't have a $760,000. They're getting this information from I don't know where. Fox News, out of their ear. I don't know. It's like, folks, that's not even close to true. And, and he kept repeating one fact after another that was so totally out of the blue, and I don't know what came out of his imagination or whatever.
I think a lot of it just comes from, like fear of the other, and a lot of it's fear mongering.
What was so disturbing about this guy, and I see him all the time when I'm out there working out, he's an evangelical minister. He has a church. He makes his living off of being a church. You were talking about this today, and I don't know should we go there or not, whether you want me to go there.
Here we go.
Not maybe specifics.
Okay. You have a friend who lives in a house, and this friend is very active in helping the homeless community. And just so happens this friend lives across the street from a church, well-known church. Maybe not in Ukaipa, in another city.
Somewhere.
Yeah, Lou Kaipa, not Ukaipa. Lou Kaipa.
Me Kaipa.
Me Kaipa. You Kaipa, me Kaipa. Hey, we all Kaipa. Anyway, the church that's supposed to help people,
I think that's what churches
the
are
pastors
for.
are supposed to help people, instead of helping like maybe the drug induced person or the vagrant, they say go across the street because that guy over there across the street helps homeless people.
Uh-huh.
What?
That
Seriously?
is a true story.
Seriously? Bringing in the sheaves, amazing grace. Every Sunday, cash in the collection plate.
And Wednesdays, I think, too.
Yeah, putting the gas in his Mercedes-Benz probably, and driving the Lincoln or whatever. And then he has the gall, the unmitigated gall, as a pastor of a church, to send it to a private residence that is in nearby proximity to his church, rather than dealing with it.
Yes.
Not in my backyard.
Although,
Nimya.
I do have a positive story. So the churches in Ukaipa typically haven't done a lot. Like, there's a few churches that do some. There's one that does a lot. And then a whole bunch that don't. Like, we have over 40 churches in Ukaipa. That's crazy. Ukaipa's not that big. So what's cool is a woman in the community heard of this program. It's called Family Promise.
Mm-hmm.
And went to the city, and the city is backing it, which is awesome. And it's nationwide, this Family Promise program, but it helps house homeless families, so children, parents, whatnot. And each church has to sign up. I think they need 13 churches.
Mm-hmm.
And the homeless stay at the church for a week. And then it revolves around all the churches. So you have to do it, twice a year or whatnot.
There are truly good spiritual people. I was sorting this out the other day. I run into somebody who I really admire. He's a good person. And when I first encountered these people, I thought, oh my God, here I go. Evangelicals, they're going to be judgmental. They're going to be mean. And they really aren't. They're devout Christians. There's a devoutness there. It's about their relationship with God. And those are the people that do help, the people you're talking about. And then there's this other judgmental, evangelical kind of, I love it how some of these churches, like, I won't mention names, but they're well known to be that kind of a church. And they have, their brand name, the mental costal, whatever. Mm-hmm. And now they're renaming their churches. Instead of it's the Second Assembly of God, it's been outrageous, right? Now, or the Baptist Church of, Fred Phelps or whatever, they're now pedals or sandals.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Riverbrook.
That's very progressive.
Riverbrook.
Yeah,
They're renaming their
really
churches.
good rebranding going on.
Really, I mean, I saw it in Yucaipa, like 3 or 4 churches now. Right along the Baptist Church in Yucaipa. I don't know what they're calling it now, but I went by and went, what, did they sell their church? No, it's still the Baptist Church, but it's like Riverbrook.
Yeah, there's some serious rebranding going on.
It's like, are you trying to just like fool people, or actually trying to be decent Christians? But I don't know.
I think
That's
yes
a
and
question
yes.
I'm going to
think
send
yes
out.
and
Yeah,
yes,
I'm being
probably.
pretty pessimistical, but
It's a sassy day.
It's a
Wednesday.
sassy day. I'm in a mood. People, watch out. I've been in a mood all week since Monday.
Yeah, you are.
And but anyway, long story made short, there are such good, devout people out there and such good Christians, and I'm proud of them.
Yep.
And those are the people we need to call upon to stand up and say, look, we've got to be the Christians we profess to be. We cannot stand along the side of the river and deny water.
Or Riverbrook.
Or Riverbrook. And deny water to God's children.
You got me good
Everyone
on
is
that
God's
one.
child. Everyone is God's child. So whether it's economic or whether it's being just a decent human person, part of humanity.
And even if you can't be a
Whatever your
decent
beliefs.
human being, just think about your wallet.
Right. Or
Yeah.
economical. Think
Yeah.
about your wallet.
What's in your wallet?
Right.
Sorry, I had to do that one too.
So if you're listening today, and maybe we've changed your mind, moved your heart, you can make a contribution. No. But the program appeals tag is here now. Anyway, if you want to help out in any way, shape, or form, there's a couple different ways you can do that. So, Mary, Mary.
You like to comment. I answered any 4-letter word, really. So it's fine.
I had a friend named Mari, and she spells it the exact same way.
I know. Thanks, Mom.
Mary, would you please tell people how they can get in touch with somebody who wants to help?
Yeah, if you would like to help or just get informed or more information, you can join the Faces of Yucaipa Facebook group. We're also on Instagram and Twitter, same handle. So check us out and find ways that you can contribute.
So wait a minute, you can go on to Facebook.com. We didn't even get to Zuckerberg today. Darn it, we need another hour. And the 41 senators. And he was in a booster chair. And, oh, gosh, stop me.
There's
Stop me.
There's
So much to
juicy
talk
things.
about in that
There's
one.
so many juicy
But anyway, Facebook.com/Faces of Yucaipa.
Yes.
And you will find how you can help people in Yucaipa. But then you can also find other places too. Google homelessness, how to help. We have Operation Hope here in town.
Youth Hope.
Youth Hope.
Yeah,
That's
they're
right.
a great organization.
Great,
Helps
they just
the youth.
dedicated their youth center down there.
Yeah,
last
great
Saturday.
center.
Yeah.
Heidi Mayer's awesome.
So, Carlos,
Heidi.
how many minutes do we have? 1 minute.
1 minute.
All right. Well, thank you, Mary Winter, for being here and letting me come scoop you up out of Yucaipa, Mikaipa.
Yucaipa?
Next to Riverbrook.
That's the Riverbrook. And thank
There's
you,
sandals.
Andrew Caravella.
Yeah, of course. Always here.
And next week,
Next week.
as promised,
As
because he was going to be here
promised.
tonight, but he's going to be here next week, the person who's opposing the sheriff of Riverside County,
Riverside County.
Lieutenant Chad Bianco, who's going to be starting a show here starting next week at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Very fancy.
Lieutenant Chad Bianco and the Law in Riverside County, and we welcome to KCAA.
But what if he wins sheriff? Does he still do the show?
Don't ask me questions like that. Let's just go to the break. But let's ask him that next week.
All right. I'm writing it down right now.
Right here, same time, right here on the Mark on KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 and 102.3 FM. Take it away, Carlos.
Thank you for listening to On the Mark Live, hosted by Mark Westwood, a weekly show about this station, hot topics, local motion, and the world around us. Join us next week as we hop back on the KCAA Express for another ride on the Mark.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5.